to Azael with Echo Fox's victorious jungler.
Great cast on the day, guys. I'm here with the victorious Acadian. Your first LCS victory under your belt here with Echo Fox. And, I want to ask you, how does it feel and how has your LCS experience been so far?
It's honestly been really exciting just playing constantly. Hearing the fans scream when stuff happens and stuff is really, really fun. So I've been having a great time so far.
You talked about wanting to be aggressive coming into the season, wanting to keep that play style, and you weren't a guy who was getting as much attention, as much hype at the start of the season, but now you really are. You've been involved in so many first bloods, you're getting a lot of credit for it, and how does that feel to kind of finally get some recognition for your hard work and for everything you put into this game?
It feels really good to see some success coming in. Obviously, we didn't win last week, but I made some. I was proud of myself, I suppose. I made a lot of aggressive plays, and I was happy because I was just concerned about coming into the LCS and just being scared to do stuff. So I was happy I did.
And so you talked a little bit about people are Acadian's Elo hell and everything, and you said no guys, it's not true. I've been making mistakes, especially in the late game and everything. And how has it been trying to improve on that? And like, where do you see your team going from here? Do you guys think it is an upward trajectory? You're getting better, doing better. Like, what's your next step as a player and as a team?
So I think really all it was, I didn't really shot call that much in scrims and practices for the past 2 months. And when we played in the games, I got super hyped because I got a ton of early kills. I was pretty much dominating almost every game, and I just started talking a lot and calling stuff that was not supposed, like, it wasn't safe. So we just throw the game. So this game, or today, this set, my focus was be quiet, listen to the shot callers, and just try to win the game slowly. So I think that's why we were able to win today.
So how does your shot calling system actually work? Who is making most of the calls? If it's not you anymore, are you trying to kind of ease your way into that system, or are you happy to let others lead and you kind of follow?
So early game shot calling, I generally just control how my teammates play. I tell them, where to go. I mean, obviously they do the laning themselves, but I tell them where the jungler is. I'm constantly tracking him. And when we move into mid and late game, it's normally just any carry that's strong will call and tell people how to play the game. So it depends game to game. Some people will call some games more, some people will call some games less.
All right, well, awesome. Well, thank you very much. It makes a lot of sense. So thank you for the interview, and congratulations on the victory. We're gonna hand it over to the analyst desk, guys.
Thank you very much, Azael. A good head on his shoulders there, Acadian. Still humble in their first victory of the season here. But he, as an individual, even with the defeats that they've suffered, has really looked good so far on the outside of the split.
Right, I was looking forward for more trash talk in that interview.
Right.
He's so humble right now. What happened to the guy from the pre-interviews week 1? Anyways, I agree. I think it's interesting to hear that he was getting so hypey from playing on stage for his first time and doing really well that he was trying to take over the game too much, which is something you don't often hear, where if a player is doing well, you say, okay, you take over the game, you know what you need to win now that you're in the driver's seat. Here it's like, all right, I'm still in the driver's seat, but calm me down, like tell me what I should do. I'm still young. Obviously, Froggen, a veteran player, sounds like he had a lot larger voice in this series, and I think it looked a lot better. They actually were able to close games out relatively well. No huge missteps in game 2, though. It did take a little while, and then this game was explosive.
Right, last game and this one, I mean, both of them getting Froggen ahead on the back of Acadian. He's really still doing a lot early. I mean, he already mentioned it. He's tracking the enemy jungler and telling his lanes how he needs them to play so he can be effective. But then from that point onward, it really did seem through their gameplay that Froggen was very much leading, since he was the one ahead and was the carry they were gonna ride to victory.
I mean, both games you see the synergy between the two, where Acadian's able to come early to mid lane, get him a kill, get him an advantage, and then once he has that, I mean, Froggen's able to make a lot of plays. We see he's just a terror with the Anivia walls, constantly blocking people off and killing him all the time. And I gotta say that some of these plays are so crazy that they work. This is not like the most innovative jungle pass. Sure, he took the plant over the wall, but that's something that could be warded at that time. But he constantly finds these openings, which is a huge surprise. And he seems to always have a knack for exactly what's going on. And this was a great team fight by him, constantly just picking up kills all over the place.
Yeah, he's going to pick up one more here at the end. Does overdive a little bit here on Expressful.
Cut.
Yeah, exactly. Cut the replay before we see that. But I think you're allowed that one misstep when you've already picked up 5 kills about 15 minutes into a game. So he was going off on this Lee Sin, but it's not specific to the Lee. We've seen it on the Rek'Sai. We've seen it on the Kha'Zix.
Yeah, that's 2 points I want to hit on real quick. Is one, he doesn't often receive much priority in the draft. We're not seeing like him doing this on Rangers and Kazakhs every game. He did it on Graves, he did it on Rek'Sai, and now he's doing it on Lee Sin.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, I actually worked with him a little bit in the challenger scene, and it wasn't a ton of time, but he wasn't a player to me that stood out in the sense that like I know this guy's going to be a monster when he gets to the LCS. The way it had happened before with Dardoch and a couple other players I worked with, and he was always a smart, vocal guy, great attitude, but he was not the kind of guy that I thought a year from now would be terrorizing the LCS, and here he is. So that's just a huge testament to the work ethic that he had and the resolve.
Not just in the LCS, picking up another player of the game for this one and leading the team to their first victory on the split. Now, if we talk about Echo Fox in kind of the larger sense, they at least have a winning strategy now.
Right.
Which is entirely centered around the duo of Froggen and Acadian. We've already talked about they're going to need to find more strategies for victory, but they've built themselves a baseline at least here in week 2, which is a much needed thing for an Echo Fox squad.
Right. I mean, you're not looking to suddenly have all your issues solved in week 2. The fact that you got your first win, huge. You have things that work. You can bank on seemingly Acadian doing well, at least in the early game, and Froggen, when he gets some kills, is showing that he still has that carry potential.
Right.
The concern is moving forward, you know, people are going to really start targeting Acadian, scouting him and seeing exactly what he's doing. Keeping it up when he starts becoming the main focus of Echo Fox's enemies prep is going to be really impressive if he can keep this up the whole season.
We'll have to see if they can do that, but a good start for them here. They are going to be playing against FlyQuest tomorrow, so they'll have their work cut out for them against one of the top teams. For now, though, we're going to toss you all over to the A Stream NA LCS 1 for Game 3 between TSM